Morning. So I was just sitting here, getting ready for the day. There was a couple thoughts that had been in my mind. One was suffering is relative, and type 2 fun. So if you've never heard the term type 2 fun is when you're doing it, it doesn't seem very fun, but later on the fun develops. You know, when I think about giving in because it's just a grind, I think, like, if I think into the future, I believe I'll look back on this as amazing and all those things. Not to mention the accomplishment. And I think about people who did this before we had gut hooks or Far Out, which is an app that we use to kind of do planning, and you know, it's a GPS, it's a map, but it also shows you all the waypoints, and there's all this information in there, which people used to use a book that came out every year. And then before that, I mean, you know, I don't think that book came out until maybe the 80s. I'm not sure. But I know it wasn't there from the beginning. So, you know, you think back to people who did this, you know, before we had all these conveniences, tons of hostels and shuttle drivers and stuff like that. Like, man, you know, I mean, the Grandma Gatewood. Now, I know that there's some people that say that she didn't really hike the whole trail, that she yellow blazed a lot, blah, blah, blah. Even if she did, in the conditions that she was doing it in, that's still so much harder than anything I'm doing today. Yeah, this is hard. It's supposed to be hard, and it was harder in the past. It's like I tell my daughter, you know, anything worth doing takes effort, and effort is not always easy. So I'm in a pretty good mood today. I'm taking my time. I've got 19 miles and some change to go today. Sorry my head's getting cut off, but I didn't want to spend all morning futzing with this to get the perfect shot. Yeah. So there's that. Slept pretty well. I bought some talcum powder, some baby powder, to put on my balls. It seemed to work all right half of the night. You know, still got a little, you know, silky underwear, but I think it's not as bad as it was before, and I'm just kind of learning to deal with it, you know, to the best of my ability. I did sleep pretty well. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's about it. Woke up, did some stretches, so I'm ready for the day. See you guys later. So I'm not going to say we've turned a corner, but today was a really good day. Part of that is because circumstances forced me to take a much smaller day than I would have done purposefully. There's some weird thing going on with the map. If you haven't updated since, I don't know, I think October, there is a detour in New York for the Palisades Parkway. I think that's what it's called. And that detour has seemed to mess with the far out numbers. There's a blue blaze. So if you're looking at the far out map, the red line is the AT proper. And then there's these blue lines. They're called blue blazes because often, well, always, when you look at the trees, the way they're marked is a blue blaze. So usually this leads to a water source, a shelter. Sometimes the blue blazes cut across. So there's these shorter trips that you could take if you so choose. Sometimes it's convenience for trail crew to be able to cut through, that I assume by the name of some of these, like the crew boss trail or something like that. Some of them are reroutes for when there's inclement weather and they're like, look, you don't want to go up there today, so go this way. So yeah. So right now there is a detour, which looks like a blue blaze. Now they've said officially that this trail is now the new real route. And they went through and they took all the white blazes off of the other route and started painting the other one. The only thing is that the other route doesn't have the views, and there's a shelter up there that a lot of people, well, might stay at. It's really off trail, so I don't know why they would, but anyway. Everybody's taking the old trail. Nobody's taking the detour. And as I talked about earlier, I decided to take the detour today too, or the old trail as well. A guy I was hiking with, he planned his day, and his plan had him going 16.5 to this Graymoor spiritual center where we are allowed to camp. And I had the same destination at 19.5. Now, in the past, I've accidentally, or when I've created a map, sometimes it'll choose the blue blaze. And I've seen this before where I'm like, oh, it's this 20 miles away. And people are like, no, it's not, it's 25. I see that the route took the shorter route, which was the blue blaze, and I had to go through and edit it. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, it's 25. Well, today I tried to figure out where this extra 3 miles was coming from. If I took the detour, which was actually slightly longer, the mileage didn't change, so it didn't make sense. Also, it was an extra 3 miles, but the detour only added 1.5 miles, 1.25 miles. I'm going to stop here because it's driving me insane. I don't know what the hell is going on. Even the way Gut Hooks was marking my miles today, it said I was going much farther than I actually, like for my first hour, it said that I did 3.3 in an hour. Now, I was doing good time today. I know I was doing good time today. I wasn't doing 3.3 in an hour. I can tell you that much. So regardless, I ended up with a much shorter day. Stopped at a deli, got a sandwich, got here early, got to sit. I mean, you could see it's still, I'm in bed and it's still light outside. That's how early it is. So I think all of that contributed to this being a really good day. Hanging out with Grinder was the guy I was talking about. He's the one I brought him his shoe. And the other guy, his name is Muck. Both of these guys are doing sections. So yeah, I think that, and just, you know, being grateful for this weather that I've been having, like, has really started to turn the grind around. I still want to make good days, but I also want to make good days. So, yeah, there's that. What else? Yeah. Went through a zoo today. That was pretty interesting. Saw the bear. Apparently, it was these two cinnamon bears, which is basically is just a black bear that's light brown, and they had been raised in captivity. Somebody tried to keep them as pets, and it didn't work out. I don't know the full story. I just know it didn't work out, which makes sense. So now they live at the zoo. I think there's only a handful of animals there. They're animals that are, you know, can be found along the trail. And they're either injured or being rehabilitated or something like that. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. As kind of I just discussed, my mood is pretty good today. I'm gonna try to get up early and, you know, do some miles today. I've worked on some logistics today, trying to hone in how this Dropbox thing is going to work. And I think I'm going for miles. You know, I'm going to say, you know, a good bet is 50 miles. 50 miles, depending on how it shakes out, could be about 3 days, maybe even 2. So I could pack for 3 days, ship it 50 miles down the line, and if I need more food, I can stop by a deli or something on the way or hit a grocery store. But I think if I just keep it to 3 days, packing 3 days, if it's going to be more than 3 days, I'm still just going to pack 3 days and try to hit a store to supplement along the way. Because at least for a while, I'm pretty sure I'll be passing a town with a store pretty regularly. Because this 5 days nonsense was ridiculous. I think that's about it. Yeah. See you guys tomorrow.